Hello everyone, today I figured we'd make some crispy pan potatoes with onions in them, so we'll go and get started with that. I've got 8 potatoes chopped up here. I'm using yellow flesh potatoes, but use whatever potatoes you like, and you can leave the skin on, so no potato peeling, yay! Always nice. So we're just going to take our nicely chopped potatoes and put them into our saucepan, right like so. Spread them all out there, and then we're going to grab enough water to cover the potatoes. So in this case I'm going to use 6 cups of it. Oh no, 4 cups of it. I would say just enough to cover the potatoes. Alright, and then we're going to turn it on to medium-high heat and let it boil. So while that's happening, I would like to tell you a little bit about this recipe. So I have been looking for this recipe for a long time because I had it once and it was awesome, and then I lost it, and this is why I'm making a recipe book. So I write down all the things that I add and change and fix to the recipe, and then it's written down, and then I gotta keep it forever. So you know, like potato recipe, pretty simple when you Google search that, but I was looking for this one specific recipe. They don't put onions in theirs, but I like it better with onions, so I changed a couple things like the seasonings and the adding onions, so it is technically still a bit of my own, but the technique I found online, and I'm just so happy to have found it again. So I'm very excited about that. So it's going to go right into my recipe book so that I don't lose it again. So yeah, I'm very excited though. I'm very excited to share this recipe with you guys. So that's going to be lovely. And you don't have to put onions in them. You can just have plain potatoes. You can put some meat in it to make it a full little meal. What I like to do with potatoes is for breakfasts, I like to have them in their pan, and then I crack some eggs into the pan and make kind of like a skillet of potatoes and eggs and salsa if you'd like. Makes for a fun little breakfast that way. But it's just a good basic thing to do, just nice potatoes, and I love onions, so we're adding onions too. But I'll change the angle for you and I will let you see what's going on in the pan, but right now we're just going to let it boil on medium-high heat, and so I will be back when it's boiling. Alright, see you in a second. There we go, I got you all set up with a different angle now, so now you can see what's going on in the pot. So now that it's bubbling slightly on its medium-high heat, I'm just going to add a nice pinch of kosher salt to the pan. So we'll go and dump that in as well. And if you'd like to boil it with other seasonings, you can definitely do so, but I'm just using kosher salt today. So a pinch is about 1/8 of a teaspoon if you're very number-minded like me. I like to know exactly how many they are. So 8 potatoes, 1/8 of a teaspoon. I read it in my recipe book like I like to do it. So exactly how it is. So we'll let this boil. I'm going to go throw the lid on just to cover it up a bit. Let it boil this way. And yeah, we'll just let it get to a rolling boil here. I will see you when it's at a rolling boil. We've made it to our rolling boil here, so we're just going to turn down the heat a little bit to let it simmer away for 7 to 9 minutes, or until the outside is soft and the inside is firm. So how to tell that is if you stick a fork into the potato and it's hard to push through, it's still firm, and if it goes through nicely and breaks apart, then it's soft. So we're going to do this because it just started boiling, just to show what it doesn't look like, because that's always useful and I don't see that very often. So as you can see, it's kind of really hard to stick your fork through and it doesn't break apart that easily. So it's definitely not ready yet. And so I'll show you what they look like when they're soft, just so you have another little learning tool, because it's hard to figure that stuff out when you're beginning. So we'll let this simmer for a little bit, 7 to 9 minutes, and I will do another fork test with you when that's out. over. These have been simmering away for 7 minutes now, so let's check and see how they look so far. Just take the lid off all nicely, and then we'll test them with our fork. So you see this comes in to the potato a lot easier. So they look done and perfect to me. Hardly any effort to get it through the potato. So that is just lovely. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our whole pot and we're going to strain it out using the lid. You just tilt it over and strain it using the lid itself, and then I'll bring it back. The potatoes are all strained using the lid and no water left in them, so I'm going to get my gloves on and we're going to do my favorite part of the recipe. And so this is why I have been searching for this recipe for so long, because you shake it and rough them up, and it's my favorite part of this whole thing. So we're going to get a good grip with the lid on our saucepan, right like this, and we'll give it a good shake. We want them to look all fuzzy on the inside, all roughed up, so a little bit more. That is going great. Alright, now the potatoes look nice and fuzzy, so we'll get on with our next step. But that is how you rough up little potatoes. So much fun. Favorite part. So I'll go and change the angle back and we'll continue on. So now that we've done that, we're going to take our oil and pour it in. So I'm using about 1/4 cup of oil for this many potatoes, and then we'll turn it on medium-high. And we'll go and slide our roughed up potatoes around so that they're all covered in oil. And then all the oil is coating the bottom of the pan. So you can absolutely just leave it like this and have some nice crispy potatoes and fry them up. But I love onions, so we're going to add a bunch of onions to them too. So this is 1 onion that I chopped up. And I just like the flavor that the both of them have together. So we'll give this a nice little stir. And we will fry our boiled potatoes. You have to shake them though, that's the key. And I've made oven sheet pan potatoes many times, but these ones just have the extra layer of fun that you gotta shake them. It's highly amusing. I am easily amused, and I just love it. So yeah. Give this nice little mix with our spatula, and we'll let them crisp up. And the onions will get all nice and soft, and we'll have a lovely little potatoes and onion side. Now they're looking very good, so this is perfectly crispy enough for me, but if you want them more crispy, please fry them up longer if you so desire. Throw some bacon in, throw some meat in, whatever you'd like, throw some spices in. I'm just going to use Montreal steak spice and give that nice little add in, so that'll be good. Very nice. So now they're all spiced up, and I think they're lovely and crispy, so I am going to try these out. But if you want extra crispy potatoes, leave them in longer and fry them up more. But I'll try these and I'll set you up differently so you can see. Now let's try our lovely crispy potatoes. so delicious, and I love them with the onions. It is so fantastic. And you're definitely allowed to crisp them up more. I just like them like this, but please keep on frying them if you want them more crispy. And I hope you try them, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.